Hello. Thank you for doing this interview with me. If you could just please state your name and relationship to me.
My name is Karen Moore, and I am Miya Whittington's grandmother.
Alrighty. Can you please tell me a little bit about your experiences in the 60s?
Well, the 1960s was when I was a teenager and had some of the best movies that ever came out. You had Goldfinger, The Sound of Music, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Just wonderful classic movies. It was, music out of this world, just wonderful tunes to listen to, pop music, just all kinds of fun music and ballads and girl tunes, and it was really, really a good time.
And were there any significant historical events that you remember from that time period?
Absolutely. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and actually my mother, your great-grandmother, was right beside the Newman family, standing, and then when the gunshots fired, she fell to the ground. This is a photo with the Newman family over here to the right, and your great-grandmother on the ground to the left. There's another photo with her facing forward that usually comes out in the documentaries. She has the sunglasses on, and everybody always talks about the woman with the sunglasses. But that was my mother and your grandmother. Her name was Doris Mumford. She said that she saw the motorcade come around the corner and it was coming toward her, and all of a sudden she heard 3 shots that came from behind her, and she saw the life leave the president's face. It was a very, very sad time, and she was in shock and had bad dreams for quite some time after that. Martin Luther King was assassinated. John F. Kennedy's brother, Bobby, was assassinated. It was not a very good decade for positive things happening. It was a very, very traumatic time.
And do you remember any significant culture changes due to uprising technologies or music?
Music for sure. 1964 was the British invasion. The Beatles came over from England and came to New York City and then toured around, and actually in, I think it was August of 1964, I personally went to see the Beatles perform at Dallas Memorial Auditorium. And I do say see them perform because you couldn't hear them because of all the screaming. It was absolutely crazy with all the screaming. But the Beatles, they were just above and beyond. They were so popular and really started quite a music trend. And the fact that my stepfather at the time, who Mother had recently married after my father passed away several years before, was from England. So a lot of my friends wanted to come over to our home, I think just to hear Brian talk, especially with that British invasion going on and Brian being from Britain. It was a fun time, that's for sure. It was a fun time. And I remember when Mother and Brian bought a 1965 Ford Mustang. That was the first year they came out, and they had a maroon body with a white vinyl top, and it was a gorgeous car. I was allowed to drive it, and I was a very, very happy person. And gasoline was, I don't know, maybe like 20 cents a gallon, something like that. It was very affordable. Ha ha ha. At the time, it's always relative, but 20 cents, 25 cents sounds pretty good.
Last but not least, can you give me a little comparison between how it was in the 60s compared to how life is like now?
Well, Technology has totally turned the world around, there's no doubt. In school with my other classes, I also had a typing class on a typewriter. You don't have typewriters anymore, you have computers. There were no cell phones, you had landlines, and you carried a map in your car all the time to know how to get around. It's absolutely a whole different world, absolutely.